Hello, 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 what ho! Welcome back to another exciting adventure of Piezas de Viejo. I'm your host, Travis Finley. So, what I was talking about was the conflict between my ex and myself, and how it didn't matter what I did or who I was, because she didn't like me to begin with. And, somebody would say, well, why did she marry you then? Well, because I was crazy about her and I loved her. And so she loved being in love. She loved being in love with. And I was talking about devotions, right? I made those devotions and she never read any of them. She just threw them away. So we always had conflict. And then when we were raising our children, anytime I was spouting off what she considered nonsense, theological fatheadery, fatheadedness, she just made her disdain known, and the children saw it. And it was unfortunate, and it was destructive. And I was a dick. I was a tyrant if I tried to address anything with her on that matter, right? So then you think about the conflict that exists with, how do you resolve conflict if neither party, like, what do? Both people are angry with each other, or maybe one person doesn't want to reconcile. What do? Where do you go? Do you go to the next door neighbor? Hey, Bob, my wife won't listen to me. Come help me, right? No. The principle that our good Lord Jesus Christ taught us was that if a brother sins against you, go to him, speak to him about the offense, and if he repents, you have won your brother. But if your brother does not listen to you, then go to the elders, right? You go to the broader community. Why? Not because we're going to draw and quarter you, right? Not because we're going to put you in stocks, but because you're going to have another person come in, sit down and go, what's the problem? And then the wife says her part, the husband says his part, the minister, the friend, the counselor comes to the wife and says, did the husband, correctly communicate the issue? She says yes. Did your wife correctly communicate the issue? He says yes. Okay, so you both agree that you both have. So why aren't you in agreement with what you should do right now? Well, he's just pig-headed or whatever. And then the guy goes, it sounds to me like you're the bitch, right? I'll see you next Tuesday for some more counseling. Or he could say to the husband, if what she says is true and you're saying that she's doing a full, honest answer about what happened, then you're the problem. You're the dick. Right? That's why you go to someone else. A third party can hear both sides and make a judgment, make a value judgment. Now, of course, you want someone who's not going to be biased. It's not going to be nepotism or broism or sisterism. So you might have a married couple or whatever. Or you might have 3 or 4 of the elders, right? You've got 3 or 4 different opinions. Now, the part where I got screwed was that all of my elder leadership in the church that we were at didn't like my theology. They didn't like the way I was coloring outside the lines. I say color outside the lines. Color straight off the page. We will not be landlocked. Full steam ahead. Right? So I was already screwed because they already disagreed with me. So even when I expressed my ex's behavior, which I thought was abnormal and unhealthy, they just looked at me and blinked like, yup, that's the way it is, big guy. Suck it up. You're the problem. So when I was counseling my son about marriage or dating, based on my experience, however, I don't believe that now. I do believe that true love will overcome all. Because you can't guarantee how your lover, how your partner, how your spouse is going to change or not change. Oh, I've always not liked that part of her. He always does. I hate it when he does that. I hate that part about him. He might not ever change. He might always chew with his mouth open. He might always use his teeth to take food off his fork. Drives me nuts. Chew with your mouth open. Oh, I couldn't stand that. Man, they are having kids after kids after kids. Got a brood. I should be the one to talk. I've got 5, right? But anyway, or I had 5. Yeah, so the openness of theology, the openness of certainty in a belief system. I mean, nothing's going to change the fact that the moon is going to start waning right now. I can't change that. That's scientific fact. Can't be altered. Never will be altered. Sun's going to come up. Sky is going to turn. The sky is going to turn. Tides are going to come in. Tides are going to go out. The birds and the bees. Right? But we're not talking about science. We're not talking about natural science. We're talking about metaphysical idealism. And you got to let that stuff go, man. Or chick, whoever you might be listening to this, you got to let that stuff go. You have to be okay. If you are not okay, you need to walk away from that relationship because you're going to be the one that damages it. Meet this guy, great girl, so funny, got along, this. Is that a character issue? Can you speak to her about that? Is that something worth making? I mean, like, what do you live on that? Do you die on that hill? Right? And even if you don't die on that hill, do you even keep your own regulations, right? How consistent are you with your convictions? Do you, she eats ice cream. Oh, these fucking dogs. Say hello to everybody. Hi, dogs. Hello. Hello. You're on candid camera. You know, how consistent with you are even within your own convictions? If you're not consistent in your own convictions and you hold your soon-to-be lover in a position where she has to abide by your conviction that you don't even abide by when everyone's watching, right? And then she finds out that you're not even consistent, she's going to hate you because you're inconsistent. Or she's going to regret, getting into this relationship with you. So you got to figure this stuff out early on. And then if you acquiesce and go, oh, well, I'm not going to worry about it, then that's on you. And you've got to work through, so you know what? I love you, but I'm so sorry. I can't be in the same dining room with you while you eat. I'm sorry. It just is like fingernails on a chalkboard. It's like a constant drip. I can't do it, but I love you. What do you need? What do you mean? What do I do? You chew with your mouth open. You use your teeth to take off the food. And I haven't matured enough not to care. And it just drives me nuts. Drives me nuts. So please forgive me, but I'm going to go eat in the living room or wherever, right? Or we'll take turns. I don't know. Whatever. That just came to my mind. But it's compromise. But at least you're honest, right? I love you. Honesty with grace. Honesty with kindness. Even though it might sting a little, is better than honesty with disdain. Or honesty with regret. I don't know. Again, lost my train of thought. Life, relationships. Yeah. So, the crazy thing about my existence right now is that I continually think about, not that it's ever going to happen, I don't imagine it'll ever happen, but writing a letter to Melissa, which I've already done twice, expressing the fact that, you know what, I'm not the same guy that you divorced. But she is now the critical one. She's now the judgmental one. Everything that I was in our early marriage, she always was too, but she hid it better. But now, she's like, well, even if I wanted to, you're not a Christian. I can't marry a Christian. I'm like, well, you can if you evaluate what the scriptures say, right? Who told you you can't marry a Christian? Paul. Where did he say that? I think it's in the Corinthians. Okay, well, let's look this up, right? I mean, if that's what she believes, then you can't. I would never ask anybody to go against their conscience. That's neither wise nor safe. You don't have a stop sign, bro. To go against conscience is neither wise nor safe. Thus spaketh Martin Luther. Look at that beautiful tree. Beautiful. I think was that a Japanese cherry maybe? So I'm the one that's totally open-minded. Like, I don't care who you are. I don't care. I care about your emotional stability. I care about your mental acuity. I care about your spiritual fidelity. I care about, that's what I care about. I care about you. You could start, I wouldn't be attracted to you if you just started eating whatever you want and blew up like a blimp. Sorry. I'd still love you, but we'd be in separate beds and celibate. And that's just the way you're like, you want sex or do you want to be fit? Or do you want to be fat? Or do you want sex? Because if you want to have sex, then you're going to have to take off pretty much everything you put on. Reasonably. Right? So, the place that I'm at right now is very open-minded. Like, I do believe that I could even be, in a relationship with someone who is completely leftist, liberal, and, Roman Catholic or whatever, We can get along perfectly fine. I don't have to convert you. You don't have to convert me. Are you good with that? I had a lover that was not okay with my contrarian views, even though she was, for all intents and purposes, in love with me. She couldn't get over those certain things, and that was finally the straw that, and I knew it too. I thought if this relationship ever ends, it's going to be because of what I believe, because she can't handle it. Even though she's crazy about me. Even though she thinks I'm the bravest man in the world, which of course I am. If you can name that quote movie, you'll be the second prize winner. I'll send you one of my personal famous jars of pickled goodies. Delicioso. All right, so yeah, there you go. I'm going to wrap this up. This has been another exciting adventure of Piensas de Viejo. I've been your host, Travis Finley. Until next time.